Hey there, everybody. It is time for the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled. Of course, we kind of have a special show today. We have two really important segments. Our first segment, we're just going to get right to it. We're going to talk to Laura Levine-Pinedo. Nice to see you, Laura. How are you
Hi, Gary.
this
Thank you
evening?
so much for having me today.
Laura is I don't have enough fingers on my hands. She's the founder of the 4Bronx Project. She is one of the co-founders and organizers of Riverdale Restaurant Week, which is coming up. We're going to talk about that, and also happens to be the manager of the Bronx Burger House. You want good burgers? Go to Marshall Avenue and check out the Bronx Burger House. Anyway, Laura, just talk about, and I know you're so passionate about it. Talk about the four. That's number four, the 4Bronx Project. And I learned that it's because you grew up in apartment 4B.
It is. It is.
But that became
So,
4 Bronx. I don't know. I grew up in 2F. I shudder to think what I could call it, but that's another story. Anyway, go ahead. 4 Bronx Project.
so I am the manager of Bronx Burger House. I have been here for 7 years. And during the pandemic, when the restaurants were shut down, I decided to turn the inside dining section of Bronx Burger House into a drop off site for donations to redirect to people of the Bronx. So it was just something that we did that felt natural to me. I've always liked to give back, and it took off. The community really enjoyed giving back. It is definitely a necessity that needs to be done. There's many people in the Bronx who need things that they don't have, and it's just connecting and making those connections. So
I want to interject something about what you said. You said it just took off. It took off because the person who was behind it is completely passionate and committed to saying, you know what, we all need to work together to make the Bronx a better place. I know you work with a friendly fridge, right? You work
I
with
do.
organizations and just about anybody who can do positive things in the Bronx.
Yes. So, I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up on 238th Street in Review Place, right across from Bronx Ale House. And, my dad is a disabled veteran. I grew up with my father. He was in and out of homelessness when I was a child. I, thank goodness, was never homeless. My mother always worked multiple jobs, and my grandparents raised me. So, growing up in Kingsbridge, I saw people struggling. And,
And you
it's
wanted to do what you could do to make
I
it work.
definitely want to do. I do this for people like my dad. Food insecurity. Everyone should have a pair of shoes. Women, feminine hygiene products. These are necessities that everyone should have access to. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. So I'm very passionate to redirect goods and services to people of the Bronx.
How does a Riverdale Restaurant Week coincide with those objectives? So listen, building up businesses is one thing, but I know for you, it's all kind of in a package. It's all part of the same theme.
Yes. So, Riverdale Restaurant Week, this will be the second one now. We had our first, it was very successful this past October. So, we're doing one in the fall and one in the spring. Michael and I are Mike is my partner from Flexus Media. We're very passionate about this. I've worked in the restaurant business locally here for almost 20 years, and it's a very, very hard business. The pandemic has not made it any easier. And
Right.
so, we had this idea to highlight and showcase the local establishments, the local businesses. To each place has a story, and it's our objective to let their story be known. So
And uh, it also contributes to the culture of the Bronx to say to people, because people say, "Oh, I don't know, there's nothing in my neighborhood," and I know right down the block or where you grew up, there's now a new steakhouse there. Not that I want to promote any
it's
competition for
delicious.
you.
No, it's delicious.
It's a wonderful place. There's the Kingsbridge Social Club. There's the Bronx Burger House, and this is only one neighborhood. We need you in all the Bronx
The,
neighborhoods.
the thing is, there was only 6 Bronx restaurants that participated in 2022 New York Restaurant Week. We never really get asked. Bronx Burger House never really was asked to be. So if that's what we're going through, I'm sure these are what the other restaurants went through as well. And it's just a week to boost our local economy, to celebrate the diversity of our community. And, the whole point of this is at the end, we do pledge to put food into the friendly fridge on 242nd Street. So we're highlighting our local eateries, but also helping to fight this constant battle with food insecurity in our community.
And it's real important from the small business perspective to note, and sad to note, that the Blue Bay Diner and Madison's, both very popular places in the Northwest Bronx, closed. The Riverdale Diner, which was frankly a landmark place for all of us, you live down the
That was my
block
first
from it.
job. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. But that also, they had a fire and they've not been able to reopen it, and it certainly doesn't appear that they're going to reopen it. These, this is not a good trend, to be honest with you.
No, and Bronx Burger House and Madison's, we were sister restaurants. So that hit very
Oh,
close
I
to
didn't
home
realize
for
that.
us.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Burger House, Beccafino, and Madison's. So when we lost Madison's, we're like, wow, this is
mm.
serious, and then Siam Square closed.
I was. It's
Outside.
funny you said that. I was just going to say that one of the person who owned it and ran it works at BronxNet. He's an engineer at BronxNet,
Oh wow.
so I was well familiar when he told me that restaurant was closing. This is not a good trend. So what happens during restaurant week? You can go to your favorite local restaurant and you get a break, or what is
Right. So
restaurant week?
each restaurant that's participating, we have 33 restaurants. You can find the complete list on dineoutriverdale.com or
Dineoutriverdale.com.
or
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, Dine Out Riverdale. There's special prefix menus where you can try, three-course meal, or some of them have opted for a straight across discount. So some are providing 20% off. So it's just incentive to go and try places that the community may have never tried or enjoy your favorite places.
And I have to say it's really very admirable of you, because you have an interest in your own place, and I want to highlight the Bronx Burger House for Riverdale Restaurant Week or any week of the year. Um, but you have talked on this program and throughout this process openly about saying, let's get all the restaurants going. Let's get everybody
Yes,
out
there's
there.
enough sun to shine on everyone.
Aren't you great? I'm just curious about something now. I don't recall. Did you have an outside shed? Did you do outdoor
We do have
dining?
an outdoor dining. It's not a shed, but it's a space.
A space out there. What do you think about the notion that, for example, if you go on Johnson Avenue, you can't find parking anymore, and the city is wrestling with how to deal with that. Do you think people or owners should take them down once the weather gets warm? Boy, I want to sit outside in those places.
People enjoy eating outside. I personally do not. When I go out,
Mhm.
I go inside any place. But people enjoy, and Gary, people are still very scared. They're very nervous about we're not finished with this
Oh,
pandemic. And I still have customers from 3 years ago. They have not stepped foot at the Bronx Burger House. They only come for the outdoor dining, or they'll take,
right,
takeout. So it's more inclusive of people who, may feel hesitant to come into a restaurant or a
right.
bar.
Right,
So
and so it sounds from that your attitude would be, let's keep as many open as we can and try and figure out another way to find places to park.
it's easy.
Frankly, I agree with that. That's my point of view. I love going out. I thought when I walk up, Amsterdam Avenue, and people would be out, especially in the summertime. Of course, we're not quite there yet. That to me was New York. It really
Right.
it taught us something, even though the pandemic was so horrible. We learned that.
Right. No, I mean, we're kind of out of the way over here at Bronx Burger House, but I can also see why people would want to take them down in the you know, more crowded areas. But,
Mhm.
people are still very nervous. I can say that from the interactions I have with community members.
And so the idea would be to give people as much opportunity to come out. That's
Exactly.
exactly what we want to do. I was just thinking about up the block from you, is that, and this is just the kind of business that you'd like to keep going, is that a barbecue place
Right.
right up the block. You probably know the woman. I don't know her name.
Ronnie, yes. I have
Right.
such a soft spot for her. She's amazing. She is.
She's amazing, and it's one of those places. I've been in there plenty of times. We've gotten takeout from there plenty of times. A lot of people don't know it. That's the beauty of Riverdale Restaurant Week, right?
Exactly. And what I've learned this time around, we have so many minority owned businesses that
Ah,
have joined. We've now expanded down to 231st Street. Um, there's sometimes language barriers, and we really just want, like I said, to tell the stories of these restaurants and be proud of your diversity, and be proud of your cuisine and your heritage, because we all do this because we have a reason, we have a story. So we just want to tell the stories of these businesses.
And for Bronx, other projects. I mean, this is obviously a big thing for you, and it's going to start April 15th. This program will air beginning April 13th, so there's plenty of time for people to make plans. Um, just talk to me about what you're thinking about for next.
So I do have a next. I
I
am
knew you
going
did.
to, and we never stop. Um,
That's my point. Yeah.
my work is dedicated to my grandmother. My grandmother raised me.
Hmm.
Her name was Alice. And 4B, I wanted to, dedicate this to her. 4B is the apartment I grew up with her. Then 4B. And so this is her legacy, and this is something that she was very passionate about. So this is all for her. Um, June 4th, I will be spearheading Riverdale Pride. This is the second Pride that we've had in Riverdale. And we have a lot of support this year, even more so than last year. It will be at Riverdale Neighborhood House.
And the kind of activities we're going to have.
We are going to have, it's family friendly, family fun, face painters, balloon artists, live entertainment, DJs, drag queens, glitter art, arts and
Beautiful.
crafts.
And again, for you, this is the vision of the whole thing, of all of us being together. And let's, the pandemic moved people away from each other, but this is a way to bring families and communities back together. I know you work closely with KRVC, and you just doing everything you can.
I am
It
their
is.
newest project. Yeah.
Say it again.
I am KRBC's newest project. So I am Team KRBC. I have their truck now that we do our drop offs and complete access to their office space. And they are amazing. And I really thank them for taking me under their wing
Yeah.
and showing me the support.
Well, Laura Levine-Pinedo, you are amazing, and we thank you for everything that you do for us and for in the Bronx. I'm fortunate. I don't live in Riverdale, but I live right near Riverdale, just like you did, and I'm in Van Cortlandt Village, and so I know all the places that you're talking about. Let's build our communities. Every
Absolutely.
community should have a Laura Levine-Pinedo, because then we could really get somewhere.
Thank you so much.
Thank Thank you so much. Check out the Bronx Burger House. Don't be shy. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, another wonderful place in the Bronx is the Pregonis Theater. And we're going to talk to folks who have something very special coming up there. So don't go away. We'll be right back.